By the way, I am the least, just so you know, I am the least racist person. The least racist person that you've ever seen. The least. I mean, give me a break. But they're saying, is Donald Trump a racist? I am the least racist person that you've ever looked at. Believe me.
The million-dollar question, can Donald Trump pivot? Joining me now, Hugh Hewitt, NBC News, MSNBC political analyst and host of the Hugh Hewitt Show on the Salem Radio Network, and Catherine Sirks, co-founder of the Women Vote Trump Super PAC. Thank you both for being here. And I want to start with where we ended in that clip, which was a recent Donald Trump rally in which this is supposed to be Donald Trump 2.0, the pivoted Donald Trump. And I want you guys to listen one more time to this clip in which he's going after Elizabeth Warren. Take a listen.
You know, Pocahontas, I'm doing such a disservice to Pocahontas. It's so unfair to Pocahontas. But this Elizabeth Warren, I call her Goofy.
Okay, now, I don't know if you could hear it, so, Catherine, I want to play it one more time so you can hear the audience's reaction when he calls Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. Just listen one more time, but we boosted a little bit the audio so that you could hear the audience's reaction to him. Take a listen.
You know, Pocahontas, I'm doing such a disservice to Pocahontas. It's so unfair to Pocahontas. But this Elizabeth Warren, I call her Goofy.
Okay, so Catherine, I don't know if you could see the little boy over Donald Trump's shoulder who does this with his hands, and you can hear the audience doing sort of a whoop, like a fake sort of war cry. That's the reaction that Donald Trump is bringing out in his audiences now, post-pivot. If that is the reaction that Donald Trump is bringing out in his audiences, is this somebody that you, Catherine, are proud to potentially have as president of the United States?
Well, I think what we need to take a look at is how do we define presidential these days? Is it presidential to slut-shame the victims of your husband's sexual escapades?
Hold on a second, Catherine. I asked you a very specific question. It's a very simple question. It's a yes or no. You looked at Donald Trump. You heard the way he just described Elizabeth Warren as Pocahontas again, got the crowd whooped up and doing a fake war cry, and one little boy even mocking Native Americans with what he did with his hands. Are you proud to have that as your president?
Donald Trump didn't do it, the crowd did it.
But he is the one who is whooping that up. Are you proud of a president that calls a sitting United States senator Pocahontas? Are you proud of that? Just you personally?
I am proud of a man who's going to lead our country. Yes, I am
proud
of a man
that. Okay, all right, you've answered the question.
I'm proud of a man who is going to lead our country.
You're proud of that man, that specific man, Donald Trump. You're proud of what you just saw. That as president. You are. Okay,
I trust him as a strong leader.
You've answered the question. All right. Hugh, my friend, you have been, members of the Trump world have called for you to be banned from the Republican convention in Cleveland, in part because you have called for the Republican Party to actually change the convention rules if necessary in order to unseat Donald Trump as the nominee. Number one, do you think that that's possible to do, and do you still believe it should be done?
Well, it's not possible to be done. I reported on it over the last 2 days, Joy, and there is no organized effort to change the rules. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a third-party choice. So we are going to face a binary choice between Secretary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I think this may be the first time the name Rajiv Fernando is said on MSNBC. But it's issues like Rajiv Fernando being appointed to the International Security Advisory Board that resets Donald Trump's opportunity every day. And although you played the audio from last night's rally in Virginia, he gave a very strong speech yesterday at the Faith and Freedom Forum, rounding out a very good day. Hillary Clinton went all in with the absolute abortion rights extremism to Planned Parenthood. She promised to remake the Supreme Court. And Donald Trump's speech at the Faith and Freedom Forum, which we need more of, I mean, a lot more of that, was about religious liberty, right to life, the Supreme Court, making sure that radical jihadists do not enter the country, rebuilding the military. It was a very solid speech. That's what, when you ran that very funny clip on the pivot, I kept hearing and translating, people want more Friday, less Monday, and he's getting there.
So it sounds like you're coming around, Hugh. Are you now Team
Not
Trump?
coming around. I'm reporting. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Well,
I ran through all the different sources that I could over the last 2 days, and it's just not happening.
No, and Hugh, I'm going to stay with you for just 1 second, because one of the issues in this so-called pivot, and you said you wanted more of what you heard at the Faith and Freedom Forum and less of what you saw at that rally. Let's take a look at the crowd at that rally. It's a 12,000-seat venue. It was not full poll at all. It was 2,000 seats or so. Now, this is after Donald Trump gave that speech in the teleprompter not long before that. Is there a concern in the world of Team Trump, just from your reporting, Hugh, that if he were to be more faith and freedom, less Pocahontas rally, that he would actually not be able to fill the seats because people would not feel as entertained?
No, that was just the Cavaliers were playing last night, Joe. That's all that was.
Don't remind people of that kind of pain, Hugh. That's just not right.
Well, I'm sorry about that,
That's
too.
just not right. People who love LeBron are really upset with you right now.
No, well, I'm from Cleveland. I'm a Cavs fan, and we're going to make a little history because no one's ever come back from 3-1 and 0-32. So we're going to do fine. But, you know, Friday night rallies are not a great thing to do, so I can't read anything into a crowd size. I will say this, that speech at the Faith and Freedom Forum is exactly what Jeff Flake, Mitch McConnell, Speaker Ryan want. And I interviewed Speaker Ryan on my radio show yesterday. He went on at great length about the national security agenda. They want Donald Trump talking about jihadism and the threat that it poses. They want him talking about Hillary Clinton's ethics problems or foreign policy failures. They want her, I'm sure that Rajiv Fernando will be in the speech tomorrow because that's another news scandal from Clinton land, maybe even Laureate University. This is important because I'm never Clinton. I've never been never Trump. I'm never Clinton.
Well, here's the problem, and Catherine, I'm going to come back to you on this because the thing is that you may want that, Paul Ryan may want that, Hugh, the conservative movement may want that, but what they're actually going to get is Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump is being Donald Trump, he's calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. He's repeatedly saying things about this judge and talking about race. And he's also saying things about women that have caused this, Catherine. A Fox News poll shows Donald Trump's unfavorables with women 64%. His favorables are 33%. Let's go on and look at the Quinnipiac poll. General election matchup has Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in a dead heat among white women. And this is important because Mitt Romney won white women by 14 percentage points. George W. Bush won them by 11. McCain won them by 7. They are a dead even with white women. And let's go to one more. In the Quinnipiac poll, among college-educated white voters, Clinton and Trump 38-46. That is actually more in line with what Republicans are like. But if you go back and look at these matchups among women and college-educated white voters, Donald Trump is hurting your party, right?
Oh, no. Donald Trump is not hurting the party.
Those numbers don't look bad to you?
Well, let me respond to what you brought up, which is the polls and the response to the polls. There has been a concerted effort within the Republican Party and the establishment of the Republican Party to try to tamper down the support for Mr. Trump. Bernie Sanders talked about the same thing in the Democrat Party.
How is it that it's Democratic Party, and how is it that the party itself has caused white women to have 64% unfavorables? Couldn't it be that calling women out on their looks, denigrating women, speaking about women the way he does, don't you think Donald Trump is who caused those unfavorables to happen?
Well, I was trying to answer when you interrupted me, so let me give it another shot.
Sure.
And that is that the polling, we don't believe that the polling just on negatives is reflective of voting, because we have all talked about the intimidation factor. Stacey Dash has talked about how she has been intimidated and criticized. Diamond and Silk have been on the air and talked about how they've been intimidated and called out for their support of Donald Trump. There's been a concerted effort to try to shame women who are supporting Donald Trump. I think that if we get into polling that's not talking about the negatives, but actually about voting and issues, then we will see some changing in that
Catherine,
polling.
are you saying that Diamond and Silk feeling intimidated to go on TV is causing white women and women not to go into the polls, the private polling booth, and vote for Donald Trump? You mean they're afraid to vote for him because Diamond and Silk are ridiculed on TV? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that Trump supporters are getting a lot of heat from a lot of people.
Why do you think they're getting heat? Why?
Because it's the GOP establishment
Not
has
because
not
of what
come
he says?
together.
Not because of what, okay, well, we're going to come back and talk to you guys more.